quite a baffling idea there, I think, from the Department for Energy Security. Another question entirely about whether this is value for money. Let us talk it all through with consumer expert Kate Hardcastle. Afternoon, Kate.
Hi, good afternoon.
What did you think of it?
Well, look, being fair to everyone who is involved in creating this, you can kind of understand. Maybe they saw the recent British Airways campaign where if you board any British Airways campaign now, your safety video will be given to you in the style of period drama and messages around big costumed actors giving you the safety messages. Maybe they saw something like that. But in this case, we've got to look at three basics when it comes to reaching an audience. This is a theme that it's creative perhaps, but it doesn't resonate with the demographic they really need to get this message to. In terms of distribution, as you've mentioned, minimal views, but also then if you look on Daisy's own accounts, it doesn't look like they've asked her or have reached an agreement for her to promote it to her quite significant fan base. So that also seems like it's insufficient. And it's the messaging, isn't it? It's a little tone deaf. This is about education. It's about selling the benefits. And I think it's also about the biggest concern many of us have when making sustainability switches. Cost. Can you afford to do it? What would the savings be? What does it look like? And it masks all that in something that just totally seems to miss the mark with the audience.
What could they do, though? Because, I mean, there is an issue. I mean, you said there's not the demand for them. They're supposed to be what we're all going to be having to switch to in the future. I mean, what is the strategy? Should there be a strategy for the department to invest money in this kind of public information campaign to say, look, we need to get some interest, drum up some interest in heat pumps? I mean, they have to go down this route somehow, don't they? I mean, they've chosen this rather than a kind of dry, factual-based, information video.
Look, no one wants beige information, I get that. And in a world of social media where it ramps up per day and our attention span is so slight, you have to really be provocative sometimes to get the message across. But this is about starting with respect. You've got to really treat consumers with respect. And it doesn't matter how many pieces of research I do across the plethora of industries I work in, consumers talk to me about authenticity all the time. And this, again, doesn't feel like it sits comfortably with what's being proposed. Interestingly, in the behind-the-scenes video you mentioned, if you watch on in that, the reason they chose that location is because the historical home is now is fitted with these pumps. And it actually is a really brilliant story to tell. You don't get to that because you kind of switch off.
Why did they make the guy, the owner of it, the star of the video?
Exactly. So tell me that actually historical buildings can have no issue using something like this. Tell me the benefits to me in a cost of living crisis, which many people in real homes with real savings to concern about are worried about. Less Jane Austen, more kind of like real facts that are going to help us. So I think it's all about trusted voices, local communities, but you do have to look at the longer term effects of something like this. It's getting more publicity on your show and in the national press for its wrongdoing, for it not working, than it is right. I mean, they could really be quite savvy and say, it was all intentional. We hoped it might provoke the PR. But truly, I think then that starts to really cause challenge again for a sustainability message. And as someone who's been an advocate for that for 20 years, I'm a little bit tired of how hard it is to sell the sustainability story and how it can be beneficial. So, I really feel it's a bit of a thorn in the side at the moment. And I think to salvage it and recoup, they need to get the right message into the right hands and get trusted voices within that industry to make it count and start with the numbers. Always start with the numbers. How am I going to help? We call it the BFU. What's the benefit to you, the customer? That's where you need to start.
I mean, this conversation, hopefully for them, will boost the 215 views so far on YouTube. I mean, you talk about trusted voices. I mean, maybe is that part of the problem, that basically the kind of environmental voices, the campaigners, the advocates of these, they're just not cutting through. So, you heard in that clip we played that Daisy Lowe was saying that she wanted to make her family home a bit more sustainable. Here's someone who's kind of recognisable. She's, on the young side in terms of like popular culture.
Yeah.
Like, is she, is it better actually to have a voice like hers where she's a kind of consumer, somebody you can relate to, rather than, an expert?
It's the whole influencer debate. And what we're seeing is success for some organisations using what they call more of a micro-influencer who really knows their stuff. If you look into Daisy's career, she has been a sustainability advocate for a long time. But the minute she dons the period dress, and she's also been interviewed in a makeup artist chair, it becomes a very different, we call them optics, the way things look and become relevant. And you do kind of switch off because you just don't know how the message is aligned to you. Look, I think what's really interesting is I've done a lot of programming where I talk about money saving, and then we'll film a piece about how, making sure that you look after your food and don't overbuy and don't throw stuff in the bin is good for the environment. And if there's one bit that ends up on the kind of edit floor, it's always the sustainability story, right? It's just not the thing that makes the impact. So I try and get my messages through for the things that really count. Sell the benefits, then you can sell your point across. And I think that's basic marketing 101. So I do feel this could have been avoided. She might be the right person. There could be others out there who can really hit home with, look, this is important. This is how it will help you. This is how I'm doing it. But if you start with this luxurious setting and makeup artist chair and it feels a bit grandiose, it just seems tone deaf, right? It's a little bit. Do you remember the Pepsi ad with Kendall Jenner, who was trying to save the world and
so
war with a kind of coat?
I mean, we could go through all the kind of dodgy public information campaigns over the years. Kate, thanks so much. Kate Hardcastle there, talking us through the merits or not of the Department of Energy Security's Heat Pump Pride campaign. Take a look for yourself